Okay, I'll call the regular council meeting Wednesday, February 5th, 2020 to order. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Alderman Ferrari. Here. Waldorf. Here. Okoshis.
Here.
Radke.
Here.
Sapienza.
Here.
Payton.
Here.
Ballard.
Here.
Buffo.
Here.
Mayor Harrell.
Here, everybody rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, do we have public comment? You signed up on the sheet, Ms. Eister? Go ahead, over there.
Yes.
Thank you. Julie Eister, I'm here to talk about the proposal on today's agenda, which is a motion to approve an engagement letter from Kleinthorpe and Jenkins for special counsel legal services relating to FOIA. I believe this is in response to my FOIA request to the city recently. First of all, there is a motion to approve an engagement letter. The engagement letter is dated 1/29 of 20. However, I have been receiving letters from Kleinthorpe and Jenkins since December 23rd of 2019. So the first question is, are they already responding to FOIA requests on behalf of the city? Is the city going to get billed for the last 9 letters that they've sent me in the last month? And if so, those would predate the engagement if you were to approve it tonight. So would those be covered under there or not, or who would be responsible for the paying of those legal services? With regard to retaining them, like I said, I've got 9 letters recently. The public is entitled to information. The law, specifically FOIA, allows the public to get certain documents from the city. Chief Burnaby and the city of Peru have been complaining about FOIA requests for years. There's articles in the paper, somebody's sending too many FOIA requests, it's wasting our time, this, that, and the other. My position is that a public body works for the public, and the public is entitled to most everything. I will concede that there are some things that the public cannot have due to certain exceptions to FOIA. However, my position is if you're not hiding something, give it to me. I send these FOIA requests not just to the city of Peru, but to LaSalle, Oglesby, Spring Valley, Ottawa. And I have never had the problems getting FOIA responses like I do in the city of Peru. And let me clarify, I don't have a problem with FOIA requests to the city of Peru from any other entity other than the police department. I can send a FOIA request to the clerk's office for documents, and within 5 days, usually it doesn't even take 5 days, but in 5 days, I will not only get the documents, but I will get a response that says, these documents are now available online for not just you to see, but everybody else. So if the clerk's office can provide documents and not only provide them, but put them online for everyone else in 5 days, why is there such a problem with the police department that, one, it's always an extension after extension after extension, and then now they want special counsel to respond to the FOIA requests? There has to be some reason for it. And the question is, why now? And why in response to these FOIAs? Because I've sent FOIAs to the police department over the years. And even while they're trying to bring in Kleinthorpe and Jenkins to respond to these, certain FOIAs, they're responding to others without need of special counsel. So it seems to me that the question would be, why is it necessary now? And my position is that it's not necessary, because the documents that I am requesting, I have requested like documents from the city of Peru before, and there's never been an issue. So in the past, I have asked, and some of these FOIA requests, and the ones that Kleinthorpe and Jenkins have responded to, all deal with the police department. The first one they responded to in December was in response to a request for proposals and schematics regarding the proposed police department. And the response I got was, now they're available online. Went online, they weren't. Went back, sent the same FOIA, got the same response, they're online, and at that time they were put online. And then I didn't hear anything from them for a month until I sent FOIA requests asking for policies and procedures of the police department with regard to discipline, And I also asked for a FOIA of all officers suspended for the last 24 months. Because at that time, I was made aware of the fact that there were 4 officers currently on suspension in the city of Peru. To me, that seems excessive. So I wanted to get a summary as to who's been suspended for the last 2 years and make sure that the discipline is proper. And I think that is the reason that these are being denied. Because in the past, I have requested, and I have received law enforcement files, specifically with discipline. Not just from the city of Peru, but from LaSalle, Oglesby, Spring Valley. I even got Chief Burnaby's from Florida. So he knows I'm entitled to them.
Okay,
He just doesn't want to give them.
You're going long.
Okay.
Chief Burnaby has a couple things that he wants to bring up, but you're going
I
long.
think with regard to the $265 an hour to pay an attorney to respond to FOIA requests is not necessary. Did he sign up for public comment?
No. I did not sign up for public comment. But I am gonna respond to a few of those things. Normally, I wouldn't respond to Julie Eister, due to our adversarial relationship. Everybody knows that relationship exists since I testified against her in front of the Illinois Supreme Court. What she just told the council, unfortunately, lacks much facts. She has not filed just with the police department. She filed actually with the engineering department, 2 of the FOIAs for records that were pointed to her to the city website for things that were a matter of public record and then were denied because they were copyright type items. That was 2 different requests, one December 17th and then a follow-up one of January 13th. She then asked for some requests from the city clerk's office of invoices and that sort of thing, and again were pointed to the city website under the proposed police station project. Again, Ms. Eister, I think, gave some information that's not factually accurate. On January 20th, she filed with the city clerk's office a request for, and I'm paraphrasing, but resumes, applications, et cetera, for any individual that applied for the Director of Parks, Rec, and Special Events. That was referred by the city clerk's office and the city FOIA officer to Kleinthorpe and Jenkins. If under Illinois law, as we now understand, applicants for jobs are not public documents. Even though she asked for it, they're not public documents, and that's being denied, I believe. Obviously, the successful candidate, that information is a matter of public record. Our FOIA officer in the city clerk's office is not going to respond to FOIAs as a non-trained attorney in high liability type situations. We have approximately 30 people applying for jobs that are employed in other locations in the Illinois Valley, and they know they have the ability to have confidential interviews with the potential public employer. So the person who gets hired, that becomes public information. The 29 people that did not apply, that is not public information because it would have a chilling effect of anyone ever wanting to apply for a public job. And if she doesn't know that, she should know that. So that was not filed. The first 2 were filed with the city engineer's office. First 3 were actually. She did in January 20th also file asking for resumes, application letters, documents of part-time officer, and any emails between the mayor and the chief of police. We did have an application from a part-time police officer who was hired as a member of the police department. She also on January 22nd asked for the police collective bargaining agreement. We have no problem releasing that. She requested a copy of the police policy manual and handbook. There's an exemption under Illinois law if we wish to do that there's certain policies that we would not release. We've chosen, in the interest of transparency, to place the entire procedural general orders manual on our city website. Some departments, some communities across Illinois and across the country refuse to do that because of safety issues. So if you want to know how people are going to respond, our police officers are going to respond to a bank alarm, go online because it's there and you'll know how we respond to our bank alarms, how we handle bomb threats, how we handle a whole host of things. I don't think we can be any more transparent than that. She then asked for, on January 23rd, a list of Board of Fire and Police Commissioners and all rules and regulations. There was a FOIA that we said, that's information we should have on our website, and we don't. So we immediately put on our website a list of our Board of Fire and Police Commissioners. on a link, and we put the rules and regulations on there as well. So thank you for making that request. It hadn't occurred to anybody to put that on our website until you asked for it, and we happily did that. That FOIA was handled by FOIA Officer Stephanie Pisha. Just a couple here more just in summary. January 24th, Ms. Eister asked for all police employees, that's 35 employees with school crossing guards, patrol officers, administrative assistants, etc. And she wanted every single work schedule from January 2018 until present. She wanted all timesheets. She wanted every piece of evidence when every one of our employees logged in and logged out. That's approximately 1,900 pages. That's 52 files that our administrative assistant at the police department would have to gather those documents to provide them. We have not responded to that. We have retained Kleinthorpe and Jenkins to do that. She's also asked on January 29th for the entire employment file, including all disciplinary records of a former Peru police officer. That was denied, I believe, by Kleinthorpe and Jenkins yesterday because he indicated to her, I believe you should have received this response, that she made the very request for the same officer and was provided the information in 2017. And now she's asking for the same information again. That information came from the administrative assistant FOIA officer at the Peru Police Department, Michelle Wagner. Finally, she asked for, as part of the CBA, let me back up, she also asked for the list of all officers suspended during the last 2 years with date, length, and reason. That is a matter of public record to a certain extent. However, under the Illinois courts and under the Illinois Personnel Review Act, I don't know if Ms. Eister knows that act exists, but if she doesn't, I would encourage her to look at that. Any municipality that has disciplinary and personnel records on a police officer has an absolute obligation to, number one, comply with the FOIA laws, but at the same time comply with the Personnel Review Act. And there's sanctions that can be placed against a municipality if you released information inadvertently, intentionally, or otherwise. So that's high-stakes stuff. And then finally, she asked on January 29th, she filed a FOIA saying that somebody told her that I had all kinds of surveillance equipment in my home. That FOIA was answered by the administrative assistant FOIA officer, Michelle Wagner, because it was ludicrous that I have any type of equipment like that. I've never had anything like that in my home whatsoever. So any surveillance equipment is in the power and control and custody of our Special Investigations Unit. So you can see some of these requests involve people that are applying for jobs with the city of Peru, and their information is not subject, according to our attorneys, is not subject to public consumption. She's also asking for disciplinary records against, I would argue, the finest members of any law enforcement agency anywhere. We have the Ms. Eister, I'm talking. Why do you spend that all the time for everything? Frankly, that's none of your business. Okay, well. Because you're entitled. Okay. Okay. And you have 15% of your police force suspended at one time. What's going wrong?
Ms. Eister, we're not in a debate here. You had your chance at the podium, and now he's responding. He's responding.
So in any event, the FOIA officers will handle and will continue to handle routine FOIA matters that do not expose them or the city to unnecessary risk of liability of releasing information that they should not release. We're committed 100% to be transparent. We will be transparent. We will provide information as required by law. Our FOIA officers are not attorneys. They're not experts in the FOIA law. They have the basic training as required by law. And I credit them, I credit Stephanie and Michelle when they get a FOIA request that they are personally not comfortable with in responding, that they go to their department head and they said, this is beyond me, I don't want anything to do with this. This is high-risk business and it can expose the city of Peru and it expose them to liability. So I will answer a couple of things that Ms. Eister said. The engagement letter is on the agenda tonight, and yes, Mr. Carls and I engaged Kleinthorpe and Jenkins in December of last year regarding the information that you requested that clearly was not public information. And since you filed all of these FOIAs involving personnel records, disciplinary records, former police officers, current police officers, I retain Kleinthorpe and Jenkins. We are permitted as department heads to retain attorneys. We have budgeted line items that's approved by the city council well in advance for legal expenses. In conversation with Kleinthorpe and Jenkins, when we have this voluminous amount of requests from you in an adversarial relationship, we said, is it appropriate, is it necessary if this is going to be more of an ongoing thing? He said, it's not legally required, you absolutely don't have to, it's in your budget, but if we're going to do it, put it on the agenda, be transparent, let the people know what we're doing. So that's what we are doing. Mike Jurisic of Kleinthorpe and Jenkins is arguably one of the well-known and probably experts in FOIA laws. He's a municipal attorney. They have, for example, something that local attorneys do not have. None of the city attorneys have this locally. They have, because they represent many, many communities that handle these exact type of FOIAs, they have redacting software where they can put in the reports, they can put in the documents, and the computer will do the bulk of the work at a much more rapid pace than certainly a local attorney could do. That's not a reflection on any local municipal attorney. The Schweiks are great, Andreoni's great, McFedrin's great. They're all wonderful lawyers. But I would suggest if you have a hernia, you don't go to a general practitioner, you go to a surgeon. And when we have high liability things, we should go to the experts. And that is all I have to say on it. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else? Okay, let's get to some of the more pleasant things here. Presentation. Have a presentation here, as everyone saw, that was in the News Tribune a few days back, that pictured above Henry and his wife Deb after serving the insurance and financial needs of the Illinois Valley residents for over 40 years. And they have decided to retire as of January 31, 2020. Between my late father, Hank, and myself, we have been truly blessed by the family, friends, and clients we have protected for over 64 years. Your trust and loyalty has been greatly appreciated. Please stop at our office at 1712 4th Street for the retirement open house on Friday, January 31st, which I hope you had a busy open house on the 31st. And I would also like to welcome Peru's newest agent. Like I told you at the beginning, I'm not going to advertise for who you're working for in the agency, but for the newest agent in Peru. And Jessica, which is your office help apparently?
No, she's brand new.
Oh, okay.
She's the agent.
Okay, great. So if you come on up here and we give you this award, it is with great pleasure that I, Scott Harrell, Mayor Deb, you need to be up here as well. Come on. The clerk, treasurer, aldermen, employees, and all the citizens of Peru do hereby present a good neighbor recognition for your service in meeting the insurance and financial needs of the community for over 40 years. Like a good neighbor, you have always been there for the residents of Peru and the surrounding area. Thank you. We're going to miss you down there. You're still going to have a present. You're still going to have a present down. Well, there still will be a present in the same building, so that's a great thing for downtown Peru.
I'd just like to say thank you, Mayor, and thank you all the people of Peru. It's been a great run, and looking forward to the next chapter. Thank you.
I've already informed them that, as anybody will tell you, once they retire, I don't know how you have time to get up in the morning and actually go to work once you're retired. And I'm sure you'll be the same, Andrea and Deb. Thank you very much for coming in. Okay, with that, I'll ask for a motion to receive the minutes of the regular meeting from January 20th and place on file.
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Do I have a motion to receive the financial reports and place on file?
So moved.
Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Do I have a motion to receive the activity reports and place on file?
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. We'll move on to committee reports. Finance, Safety Services, Chairman Radke.
I have the disbursements to be paid February 5th, 2020 in the amount of $2,534,371.37. Make a motion that these be placed on file and the bills paid in the usual manner.
second.
Your Honor, this evening we have, I'd like to make a motion. Oh, sorry. I'm ready to go.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to receive the disbursements, place on file, and pay the bills in the usual manner. Is there any discussion?
No.
Call roll, please.
Alderman Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Prokosius.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Sapienza. Peyton.
Aye.
Ballard.
Aye.
Buffalo.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Now, Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion to reinvest utility and general funds in, 2, 4, 6 different investments. Justin, you wanna explain that?
Yeah, consistent with our recent approach, we've been looking to fill some of the miscellaneous durations that we have outstanding. 36-month was a whole, so we had the full $400,000 in there, and the remainders are $50,000 investments at different periods that we had some availability within those durations, and we were able to fill those at some pretty respectable rates, albeit lower than we were getting last year at this time. They are very marketable for the current conditions.
Anybody else? A roll call the roll, please.
Alderman Ferrari. Waldorf.
Aye.
Prokosius. Radke.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Aye.
Peyton.
Aye.
Ballard.
Aye.
Buffalo.
Motion approved.
Dave, who was the stuff?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? This is, did you mention the Boy Scouts and whatnot? Okay, the Boy Scouts, they have their annual, it's a breakfast fundraiser, and it'll be some of the same Boy Scouts that put the storybook walk up at our splash pad, and have done many other projects. They've done projects for landscaping around a flag up at our splash pad area. And it's naturally, anybody who's ever associated with the Boy Scouts, you know that it's a very good cause, and we've done it for quite a few years in a row. And actually, this year, we went from 100 to 150. So we'll have a roll call vote. Call roll.
Alderman Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Prokosius.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Sapienza. Peyton.
Aye.
Ballard.
Aye.
Buffalo.
Aye.
Motion approved. Anything further from Fine?
We have no further report, Your Honor.
Okay, Public Services, Chairman Waldorf.
Yes, Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion to approve an engineering service agreement with Chamlin and Associates for the design and inspection of the Area 5, Phase 1 IEPA mandated sewer separation project.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it, Your Honor.
Have a motion and a second to approve the agreement with Chamlin Associates for Area 5, Phase 1. Discussion?
Yeah, I'll provide some oversight on this. We're working on finishing up Area 1. Area 1 is area around the hospital, which is Area 1 Phase 5 is scheduled for this year. We also have Area 1 Phase 6, which will take us up West Street and finish out that section of sewer separation. Area 5 is an area that is on the east end of town, so east side of 251. This area specifically 7th Street around Monks Avenue, working that area to the south towards Route 6. And we're also including the second phase of the 7th Street water main project within the scope of this project. So next year, we'll have a combination of a sewer separation with water main improvements to finish out the 7th Street improvements. Phase 1 of the 7th Street are scheduled for this year.
Anybody else? Okay, we'll have roll call roll.
Alderman Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Prokosius.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Aye.
Peyton.
Aye.
Ballard.
Aye.
Buffalo.
Aye.
Motion approved.
I'm sorry, I had one question. So the Area 1 Phase 5 is around the hospital.
That's correct.
That's this summer.
That's correct.
Area 1 Phase 6 is around West Street, and that's next summer?
So because of the size of the remaining project in Area 1 and the smaller scope of Area 5 Phase 1, they could both go in the same season, provided design and permits are attained by next construction season.
Plus, was it also mentioned that the lift station, the Rock Street lift station, will be addressed in that?
Yes, as part of the Area 1 Phase 5 program this year, we'll be eliminating the Rock Street lift station.
Next, Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion to seek bids for a bucket truck for the electric department.
Second.
As previously discussed, these trucks take, 9 months to a year or better to build? Over a year. So we wanna get that process started, 'cause the electric department is, in need of a bucket truck.
Right. Anybody else? We have a motion, a second. Okay, call the roll, please.
Alderman Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Prokosha.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Aye.
Peyton.
Aye.
Ballard.
Aye.
Buffalo.
Aye.
Motion approved. Okay, anything else from Public Services?
No, sir.
Okay, we'll move on to City Attorney ordinances, resolutions.
Yes, Your Honor, first I have minutes of public hearing on petition of MVAH Holding LLC concerning property located east of North Peoria Street and north of Midtown Road in Peru.
Okay. Is that the one that you just said Wednesday? And what was the recommendation from planning and zoning was they said no, right? And it was unanimous? Okay, do we have a motion to receive the minutes placed on file and concur with the recommendation?
So moved.
Second.
So we had a motion from Alderman Waldorf and Alderman Lukosius? Okay. Everybody, we already did the concur, I'm writing too much up here, right? Okay. Next.
Yeah, I think the zoning board got this one right. I think that's the right decision. Absolutely.
Well, let's, on this one, because it may come back, let's do a roll call.
So a roll call vote to,
Concur with the recommendation, which was
of
no.
the Planning and Zoning
Deny.
Commission. Alderman Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Prokosha.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Aye.
Peyton.
Aye.
Ballard.
Aye.
Buffalo.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Next, Your Honor, I have minutes of public hearing on petition of Robert Gravetti concerning property located at 2702 May Road, Peru.
Okay, do we have a motion to receive the minutes placed on file and concur with the recommendation, which was a unanimous yes for the variance granted?
I'll make the motion.
Where'd that come from?
I'll second.
Be nice to have the new system that we were just looking at a little earlier. Okay, is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried.
Next, an ordinance granting special uses as sought by the petition of Robert Gravetti for property located at 2702 May Road, Peru.
Do I have a motion to approve the ordinances written in red?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Have a roll call, quick call roll.
Alderman Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Aye.
Peyton.
Aye.
Ballard.
Aye.
Buffalo.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Finally, we have a resolution for maintenance of streets and highways by municipality under the Illinois Highway Code.
Do I have a motion to receive and approve the resolution as written in red?
So moved, Your Honor.
Eric, a couple points on that?
As I reported in the committee of a whole, we had previously passed a resolution to authorize the expenditure of $1 million in MFT funds for the North Peoria Street project. During that time, there was some legislation changing the amount of MFT that the city receives. Justin and I have been working with the DOT to understand our allotments since that change, so we waited a period of about 3 or 4 months to understand some projections, and utilizing the progress schedule of the contractor for North Peoria, we've established that we can request an additional $500,000 of MFT funds to be included in that project. So that frees up $500,000 of city infrastructure funds that will reallocate to other capital projects. So in total, the North Peoria project will have $1.5 million in MFT funds.
Any other questions? Have a roll call, quick call roll.
Alderman Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf. Aye. Lukosius.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Aye.
Peyton.
Aye.
Ballard.
Aye.
Buffalo.
Aye.
Motion approved. Anything else from your desk?
Nothing further.
Okay, does anybody have any unfinished business? Okay, new business. Do I have a motion to approve an engagement letter with Kleinthorpe and Jenkins for special counsel legal services related to FOIA matters?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Well, obviously, I think this is a very reasonable thing for the city to do. We should provide all the information we can. With the information that's somewhat sensitive, we should protect people's personal information to the best of our ability.
And I don't think we can ask our FOIA officers to take that liability risk,
That's not,
to redact. That's not their job.
that's not fair to them at all.
Okay, we'll have a roll call, clerk call the roll.
Alderman Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lakosha.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Sapienza. Peyton.
Aye.
Ballard.
Aye.
Buffo.
Aye.
Motion approved. Is anything else under new business that came in? Okay, petitions, communications. The annual report and request for stipend, Peru Veterans Memorial Group. During the year 2019, Peru Veterans Memorial Group provided military honors at the services for the following deceased veterans: James Lucas, Bob Templeton, Joseph Tutai, Earl Bruning, Paul W. Ford, Alex Kaczynski, Harold Wilmer, Clarence Sapienza, Donald Brovelli, John Cutter, Henry Wellner, Eugene Jacks, Peter Cerisa, Robert Grusk, Jack Grant, James Jenkins, Ernest Melton, Harold Helwig, Louis Marfel, Joseph Kurtenbach, Richard MacJust, William Kaler, Donald Kowalczyk, Charles Kapler, Fernando Vasquez, Thomas Juwaya, and August Wilkie. I'd like to ask everybody, could we stand up for a moment for these veterans? Thank you. Okay, in addition to these military honors, the group also provided other community services such as color guard, posting of colors, firing squad or TAPS, TBM Avenger reunion, Memorial Day observance, Flag Day retirement of flags, Veterans Day observance at Northview School and at Washington Park, Pearl Harbor Parade and Memorial Ceremony. Members also assist with poppy days and gifts to the Yanks at LaSalle Veterans Home. We do not solicit payment for service, but do receive donations from time to time from families. Peru Funeral Homes and an annual stipend from the City of Peru, which we herewith request. These funds allow the group to maintain flags, weapons, purchase ammunition as required, and provide participating members with seasonal shirts and jackets to maintain uniformity of dress. Thank you for your consideration. Dennis Zanicki, Commander, and James Krispathich, Treasurer. Signed by Secretary John J., also known as Jack Landgraf. So we don't have it on the agenda, but... We do have the communication on the agenda. Historically, we granted their permission and recognize the veterans all in one motion. Right, so we'll put it on the next finance in 2 weeks for the approval of... What's that? Right. Okay, Clerk Bartley, do you want to read the one from...
Yes, we got two more communications. The first one's from, Terry Chamberlain requesting the use of Bigger Lake Shelter for a small wedding ceremony on Saturday, June 27th, and there are no conflicts.
I'll make a motion, we grant permission.
A second.
Who was the second? Ballard. Discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. I'll go back. We'll receive the communication from Peru Veterans Memorial Group, placed on file, and turn it over to finance at the meeting in 2 weeks for consideration of the donation.
My opinion is we should just put the $600, what are they at, $600? What are they asking for?
Okay. We're not
I think
taking
just
any
put it on
action,
the next
it's just
regular
a straw
meeting.
poll, but, all right. Do we have a motion to receive the communication? Where's that coming from? And Alderman Waldorf? Okay, all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion approved. Do you have any more, Clerk Bartley?
Yes, Your Honor. I have one more communication, actually submitted, by Attorney Scott Schweigert on behalf of his client.
Jackie or J.C. Etchide, for Division of Real Estate and waiver requirements of the subdivision ordinance.
Okay, do we have a motion to,
And we'll need to appoint, special counsel to
Correct,
represent
as a conflict of interest, so.
at the planning and zoning.
I refer to plan and zoning and, independent.
okay, who's it from? I don't have a copy of that.
It's from, Attorney Schweigert on behalf of his client.
Okay, to turn over to planning and zoning for review and recommendation
And you'll need to appoint special
and appoint special agent counsel. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second?
All those in favor? All opposed? Motion carried. Do you have any more?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, had a letter come in today, return address, Classic Pageants, 2615 West 35th Street, Oak Brook, Illinois, 60523. Dear Village President, greetings from the Mrs. Illinois America Pageant Super Bowl 2020. The state finals for Mrs. Illinois/America will be held on June 7th at Hemmons Culture Center in Elgin, Illinois. All village presidents are being contacted to have a representative to represent your town. If the contestant should be a state winner, look what the winner of Miss Illinois America could do for your town. We encourage you to get a beautiful married lady from your town to call the Mrs. Illinois America office and ask for applications. 630-325-4305. All village presidents are asked to attend the pageant and represent your town contestant. Your tickets will be comped and you will be announced at the pageant. There will be about 1,200 people attending the pageant, and we hope you are one of them. You may call Joe Aceto, producer of the Mrs. Illinois America pageant, with any question that you may have at 630-327-7181. The town that the winner represents will have free appearances at the Mrs. Illinois/America Classic Pageant and will promote that town and business and feature it. Please send us many representatives from your town that have a quality of beauty and poise and personality and you feel could win this prestigious title. So get a newsletter out to your town asking for contestants for the Miss Illinois/America pageant and for Miss for America. Mrs. Illinois/America is a mark of beauty. Marcy Aceto, State Director from Classic Pageants. This came in today, and hopefully it'll be in the paper tomorrow, and I'm advertising it, and the letter came in, and in the voice of transparency, I'm reading the letter to everyone. So hopefully we'll have somebody from the city of Peru that'll be in the pageant. Do we have a motion to receive, place on file, and we officially ask anyone that would like to be in the pageant to contact us or a copy of this communication in the contact information for Marcy Aceto, the State Director.
I will make the motion.
And do we have a second? I'll second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hey, it came in, it's... Okay, do we have any other petitions and communications?
None from me, Your Honor.
Public comment, do we have any public comment?
Just hit the, button there and it'll go green for you.
Good? Okay. With regard to what Chief Burnaby said, I'd just like to follow up. With regard to the request to the engineering department for schematics regarding the new proposed police department, that was not sent directly to the engineering department. It was sent to the clerk's office. The only FOIA requests I ever send are to the clerk's office, to Stephanie Pisha, or Mr. Bartley directly, or to Michelle Wagner at the police department. But apparently it appears that now all FOIA requests are going through Chief Burnaby. I don't know if that's because the clerk's office accidentally gave out the schematics that said Burnaby Boulevard for the Peru Police Department. But it appears that now all the FOIAs are going through him rather than the appropriate FOIA officers, which are designated with the State Attorney General's office to who the FOIA officer is pursuant to each department. And every FOIA officer is trained and does have a certificate of training in FOIA. With regard to retaining Kleinthorpe and Jenkins to respond to FOIA requests, specifically with regard to police officers, and I think this is probably the only time that I will ever agree with Chief Burnaby on anything. other than the fact that I will agree that our officers are fantastic. However, I do believe they deserve better than you. So, that's the reason for all of my FOIA requests. And currently, there is a controlling letter from the Attorney General's office, which I did send to you 2 days before you retained Kleinthorpe and Jenkins, which comes out of LaSalle, where there was an officer in LaSalle, James Strand, and I requested his employment file years ago, and the Attorney General's office ordered LaSalle to turn it over. And that is a controlling case. I sent you that letter as an opinion. And with regard to the Personnel File Review Act, I am aware of that because I sent it to you as well on the 27th, 2 days before you retained Kleinthorpe and Jenkins. And I advised you to the specific portion of that act that says that this act does no way diminish FOIA. So, additionally, you said about Officer Anderson. Oh, you didn't. You said several years ago she required or requested a file. That was Anderson, who was your commander. And it wasn't for his file, because I went back and checked before today. And I had asked for the clear and present danger that you would have been required to send to the Illinois State Police, which you did not, after he had an hour-long standoff with a firearm. So, that was what I requested, not his entire personnel file. So when I requested it again last week, that's what I wanted, was his entire personnel file, to make sure that the discipline he received in response to striking his wife, operating his vehicle drunk to his home, and then having an hour-long standoff with police was commiserate with the discipline that the officers are getting now for being tardy or whatever else they're being disciplined for. That's what I'm trying to determine. With regard to the FOIA for the timesheets, it may be voluminous, it may be a daunting task. But if you're going to discipline officers for being tardy or missing days from work, I want to make sure that all the officers who are missing time are all being disciplined accordingly, and not some officers and not others, which is the reason for all of the documents. Additionally, you had mentioned the policies and procedures. I did send a FOIA for the policies and procedures of the police department, the officer's handbook, as well as a list of the officers suspended for the last 24 months. And you stated that those were online. Prior to any FOIA request I sent to the city of Peru, I checked the websites first to make sure the documents are there. There's a purpose to that, because I don't like to FOIA documents unnecessarily, because I don't necessarily like the people that I'm requesting them from to know that I have them or what I'm looking into. So if I can get the policies and procedures without alerting Chief Burnaby that I'm looking for something, I'm of course going to do that. So when I sent a request, there were no policies and procedures online of the police department. If there were, perhaps Kleinthorpe and Jenkins, your fancy Chicago firm, where the attorneys walk on water, would have responded that way to my FOIA request. But instead, what they said was, we need a 5-day extension because the documents you request are not kept at this location, or they're voluminous, or they require redacting. So, that's not necessarily accurate either. Lastly, you did mention that we do have an adversarial relationship. I agree. However, you did not testify against me at the Illinois Supreme Court. You testified against me at the ARDC. And if you would like, I will make those transcripts public so people can see how you testified, because it wasn't very good for you, which was the result the next day when you told the police officers of Peru that if they are friends with me, they are an enemy. Public comment, be quiet. No, they're not.
Okay.
No, they're not. It was a
Okay.
recommendation.
Ms. Ister, you've been up for 5 minutes.
So, with
Ms.
regard
Ister,
to that
you're
testimony,
finished.
okay?
Ms.
In
Ms.
addition to the
Ister,
lies about
you're finished.
the Peru Police parking lot that you posted on
Ms.
Facebook.
Ister, you're well aware of the public speaking comment. I let you go for 5 versus 3, and you're finished.
If you could clarify what's public comment and what is not. Because during the first portion, which is according to the agenda was public comment, and I spoke, and then Mr. Burnaby responded, I asked if that was public comment. I would just like it clear as to what is public comment, because there was nothing on the agenda that said that there was an opportunity to respond to public comment.
Okay, thank you for your comment. Anybody else, public comment? Anyone else? Okay, do we have need for a closed session? Do we have a second? And then will the clerk can second. Okay, do you have the subject?
So we have a motion from Alderman Lukosius, seconded by Alderman Radke. Alderman
No, I have,
Sapien.
Sapienza. Lukosius was
To
the
go into
motion.
closed session, meetings to consider the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, including the public body's legal counsel, or hear testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee to determine its validity. These discussions may involve the entire employment relationship, including renewal or continuation of employment and compensation. Do a roll call vote to go into executive session. Alderman Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Sapienza. Payton. Ballard.
Aye.
Buffo.
Aye.
Your Honor, I'd like to, restrict this closed session to, elected officials only.
Okay, it'll be the mayor, council, and clerk. That'll be all.